When it comes to Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, the use of mutants and what happens with the future of the X-Men and the mutant brand, things are going to get a little bit confusing. And I've recently been asked to talk about this and give my personal thoughts on this. Do the X-Men and the MCU have a problem when it comes to introducing the bigger concept of the mutants? And I'm going to say yes, because it's pretty evident that they do. So let's say hypothetically, we get through Multiverse of Madness, and that film introduces us to the idea that the old X-Men films are now in continuity, and they're just going to merge through the multiverse, everything into one, which, who knows, maybe that's their goal, right? There's a problem, because then everything suddenly exists, and we have to account for all those discrepancies and problems, and suddenly all those characters just exist, and it's a whole mess of a new timeline that's being created to try to restore what would effectively be a new sacred timeline, one timeline. That's out of the question. That can't happen just due to things that are going to happen in Loki, obviously, and Quantumania, and everything else. So back to the drawing board, because that one's off the table. Do they suddenly say those films do matter, like Spider-Man and The Amazing Spider-Man, but we'll just inject mutants into the MCU now? Okay, but therein lies the problem, because then we can't use any previous versions of any of those characters. Cyclops has already existed. He's old. He's dead. Same thing with Logan. Same thing with Professor X. Unless it's just the one in the Multiverse of Madness, like whatever variant that might be. Again, a problem. Oh, but Deadpool 3's coming to the MCU, and that's part of the old continuity, but he's going to be an MCU character, and Deadpool 3 will be an MCU film that adds him into the whole fold. Okay, but that kind of then needs explaining of everything else, unless they just make it a joke. Again, we don't know how they're going to handle Deadpool 3, and up until we see it, it could literally be anything. Again, another problem. Well, why don't you just say mutants were there the whole time? Because that's lazy writing, and that's the laziest thing ever. And no, the whole Professor X made everybody forget is literally not going to work, because then he's literally worse than what Wanda did. So please stop pitching that one, because that's the worst. That's literally the worst way to present Professor X, as somebody who's literally worse than Magneto. Hashtag Magneto was right. So what exactly do you do? Well, there's multiple things you could do. Maybe Multiverse of Madness will explain to us that at some point in the far-flung past, there was something that happened that sort of skewed the timeline, and mutants did exist, but they don't really start becoming more prevalent till after Multiverse of Madness. A few did exist, a few notable ones, Wolverine obviously, but very much what happens is, due to everything that happens in that 6 to 9 month period, end of Endgame, to everything that's going on around Multiverse of Madness, something there, maybe like a Nexus time period event that can only happen here, that suddenly makes this a reality. But again, it goes back to the problem. What do you do with everything? How are you going to explain this? Again, I'm going to agree with many people. I do think Marvel Studios has a mutant and X-Men problem that they can't just simply write off. And I'm going to be interested to see how they do it, honestly. That's just my quick thoughts. I know many of you asked for me to elaborate when I said on previous podcasts that I think Marvel Studios will have a problem with the X-Men. I just kind of laid out 4 or 5 different scenarios of why, really, and I don't think anybody can argue against them.